Thank you for joining me today. I thought I'd do a video that shows how I look at charts and read a chart for clients. I hope this is going to be helpful to you. I'm going to start by sharing my uh, software so we can look at a chart together. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to do Demi Moore today. I thought particularly for my Patreon page, I'm going to actually work on her chart because she has very, very interesting chart. So let's just going to move those so I can see. Okay, so Demi Moore. So if somebody was coming to me and they wanted to have their chart read, the very first thing I would do, obviously I would put their details into my computer and just into the software and get their chart come up. I always check to make sure what they've given me and what I've got on the software are the same. And the other thing is I always check the time because obviously hers is great because it's 14:16 p.m. So I know that must be quite okay. But if she was giving me 1400, I'll be checking to just make sure, because obviously that makes the ascendant of the D9 change because that changes every 15 minutes. And I know because I can't use any of the higher charts because they are very time sensitive, like Sastyamsha moves every a couple of minutes. So I will not be able to use those higher charts. But I will actually look at these times and actually see how, when I'm changing times, how they will actually impact the charts. And because obviously I need to make sure, because if you're saying 29 degrees, I know that if she was born just a little bit later, she would become Pisces ascendant. So I've got to make sure that's correct. And I'll just check it because if I just show you because there are so many charts, all of these are all time sensitive. So I've got to make sure, because the ascendance changes during those times. If you look at all of these different charts, so I've got to make sure I get those right. So time of birth will be absolutely crucial. I mean, there are other ways you can read the chart. Obviously, you can read from the Atmakarka planet. Excuse me. You can also read it from the moon or the Dasha Lord as well, which is absolutely fine. But so basically, if I was reading her chart, I look at, obviously, just look at the ascendant Lord, Saturn, and where it goes. You can see it's got 12 from the ascendant. So obviously I can see that there are some issues there. Then I'll have a look at the Nakshatra Lord. It's ascendant Nakshatra Lord. Purvabhadrapada is ruled by Jupiter. I can see that Jupiter is sitting in the ascendant. So I know that this person's motivation in life is Dharma. When your ascendant Lord of the Nakshatra of the ascendant, is in the first, fifth, or the ninth house, you know that this person are here to fulfill their Dharma. If her ascendant Lord, Nakshatra Lord, not ascendant Lord, was actually, say, if Jupiter was in the second house, I know that this person's motivation in life is to be accumulating a material gain. So it will activate her second. So if it was here, then in their second house, her trinals, outer trichones will be activated. So it'll be second, sixth house, and 10th house. If say Jupiter had ended up in the third house or the seventh house or the 11th house, then I know that she's here. It's a very desire-based chart. So she has a lot of desires to fulfill this lifetime. And say again, if Jupiter was, for example, in the fourth house, eighth house, or the 12th house, then I know that she actually is here to fulfill things to do with moksha and release and spirituality. So this will be a completely different path. But I know she's here to fulfill her dharma. So I know that's very important to her soul. Then I also look, obviously, I know I'll look from the moon, and I can see moon is the lord of the fourth house, has gone into the first house. So Aries. So Aries, so I can see that there is, in this lifetime, she feels she wants to be secure, she wants to be brave, she's both motivated to do things that are right for her security and stability, emotional comforts, things like that. So those are important to her as well. And so I look at all of these things, and I also look at the dasha. So I know that she's in Jupiter dasha till January. So she's got a few months left of this dasha of Jupiter. So, and I look to see, sorry about that. I look to see what is happening with her as well. So I know that her moon, because I use Navatara or Tarabala, some people call it as well. So in that scheme of nakshatras, I always look to see which planet is moon sitting in. The nakshatra that is moon sitting in is Bharani. Bharani is ruled by Venus. Venus is going into the 7th house. But I know that, you know, Bharani will be like her moon nakshatra, so it'll be her Janma. So I know that the results of Venus nakshatras will be mixed, because it's the first one you're born with, you know, and obviously birth is never easy. And then Sun will be her second dasha, will be Sampat, so it'll be a bit more comfortable. Third nakshatra, when it's activated after birth, is never comfortable. It's the one that's going to give you 6th and 8th house issues. So it will be like, whereas this is like almost like 2nd house, 11th house things happening with the sun. With the moon will be things like 8th and 12th house. So a person can feel out of control. There could be losses. There could be 8th house stuff, 12th house stuff can happen there as well. And then I know that Mars will be a really good planet for her from the moon. So this is how she will feel. So Mars will give her Sampat planet. It will give her all those, Keshma planet. So it will be giving her all the comforts, or, you know, this make her feel quite secure. Rahu will become her Pratyak. It will give her lots of issues. Whereas with the Mars one, she's had like 4th house stuff of security. Now Rahu is going to actually give her 3rd and 6th house issues, where she'll be like feeling a little bit out of control, in the sense that 3rd house, just everything that she does will be sort of 3rd house and 6th house stuff will be the theme of that period. So it's a long period with Rahu as well. So it'd be like either obstacles, divorce, enemies, debts, all those kind of things. And she's got to put a lot of effort into her life in order to be able to overcome those issues. But Rahu as well is the planet that can give you fame as well. So it's probably coinciding with all the things that are also, to us, would have been like a really good time for her life as well. Then Jupiter will be Sadhana planet, so it will give her lots of comforts. But obviously, you know, you've got to remember that all of these have got sub-periods as well. So sub-periods can be quite difficult. Saturn will be her Nadana planet. That, you know, this will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th one, yeah, 3, 5, and 7 from the Jamma Nakshatra Dasha. You know, or 7th dasha, 3rd, 5th, 7th dashas are never easy. But I always think that those ones always give you more successes, make you stronger, braver, and you achieve more at the end of those periods, actually, rather than the more comfortable ones where we can all be sitting a little bit comfortably expecting things to happen. But then she goes into Mercury and Ketu. Mercury and Ketu dashas will be fantastic for her. So yeah, that's always a good one to bear in mind. Right, let's have a look. So so she's on Jupiter Rahu, the very tail end of her dashana, so before she starts Saturn. So we know that Saturn period can be difficult for her because it's her Nadana planet, but she'll have really nice times. Mercury and Ketu will give her a lot of support. Venus will be so-so. Sun will be okay. Moon will be difficult. Mars will be very good for her, and Rahu will give her problems, and Jupiter will be nice again. So you can see even subdashas are very supportive, so you don't always go through a period where everything is very, very difficult. So anyway, so that's about the dashas, and yes, so I will also look at that. So it's Jupiter, so it'll be the same as reading it from the chart, but I can see Jupiter and Rahu are 6 and 8 from each other, so there will be issues during this time as well. Then I'll look at a condition of all the houses really, and I'm looking at the moon, obviously how she feels. She feels unsupported by the family, and generally speaking, yeah. And because of Chemdram yoga occurring there, so she's feeling as though but obviously she's got all these planets, at an angle from her helping, but the feeling I think is like that. But people who've got Chemdram yoga, they normally are high achievers in life anyway. A lot of entrepreneurs and famous people have Chemdram yogas, or debilitated planets, in fact. And then I check the D9 and D10 and D3 and see the condition of planets there. And I can see, like in her D9, she has got Venus on the ascendant. So I know that Venus rules her 5th house and 12th house. So I can just see that, first of all, 12th house issues going into the 1st house. There are going to be issues with marriage and on her path generally. Venus is also the Karaka of the D9. So whenever you got the Karaka of any Rash, any whether it's any of the Vargas sitting in that Varga's ascendant, they're gonna be problems there. So I know that she's gonna have problems with marriage, and also because Venus is retrograde, so she's got some karmic things from previous lives to deal with. Venus retrograde, to do with relationships, and also is her Atmakarka as well. So she's here to learn lessons for that as well. And sitting in the ascendant, yeah, she will, if you have that in your D9, there are going to be issues with relationships. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have relationships. That's totally up to you. It's the person always decides if they want to or they don't want to, because they could just hide themselves away from relationship and not actually try it out, if you like. And you can see Jupiter also sitting in 7th house from Venus will give issues anyway, because Jupiter is not a great planet in the 7th house, generally speaking. Jupiter is not good in the house that it is, but it's always better where aspects it helps there more. But you can see also that although in the in her Rashi, she's just got one debilitated planet there, but you can see actually in reality, she has got Saturn debilitated, Mercury debilitated, and also Moon debilitated. So there are lots of issues, psychological and otherwise, that she's here to deal with in this lifetime. It's pretty tough, actually, that one. But she's got very strong Mars, so she's able to, deal with that really, really well. And also Venus is, although it's in good condition in Gemini and friendly sign, but actually the dispositor is weak. But then the dispositor of Mercury is Jupiter, and Jupiter is strong. So there is like mixed results really in that one. So I look at all of those things. I look at ascendant Lord, where it goes, Nakshatra Lord, ascendant Nakshatra Lord, where it goes, dashas, moon, see everything from the moon, and then condition of all the houses, all the planets, D9, D10, D3, I always check those. And I look at Atmakarka and see where it goes. So I can see that. I mean, obviously, I will look at D10 and D3 as well. Look at the dashas, what they're going through, and just see like how the Atmakarka, Amatyakarka, and Darakarka actually connect in the D9. So you can see that there is a definite connection between Jupiter, Darakarka, and Venus, Atmakarka there. But also note, just by sheer fact that Venus is not friendly with Jupiter, I know that there are going to be issues with there's a little bit of preaching from Jupiter. So I think she has married 2 guys who are older than her and a chap that was younger than her. So she has had that issue probably there. So probably makes her really wise about giving a relationship advice. And in fact, Venus and Sun create a really, really good advisor together anyway. So, and they're sitting together in 9th house there. So And actually, she has published, because ninth house is publishing as well. So she has published a book during Jupiter Dasha, which has been really successful. So anyway, so those are the things I look at. I also noticed that, like the Mars, I just want to always know, what bad aspects has Moon got as well. So I can see that Mars doesn't aspect, so it's fine, and Saturn doesn't aspect, Rahu doesn't aspect, and neither does Ketu. So that Moon is getting, like, obviously Venus and two benefics, natural benefics, are actually aspecting the Moon, which is great. But obviously, Cancer, the Rashi of stability and everything, is being really badly affected by Rahu, Mars, and also Saturn. So that's pretty difficult. So, but also look at her Brigabindu point. It's in Mula, so she'll go through a very transformational life. Mula being like that, and and it's in 11th house of bigger networks. So Brigabindu can be good and it can be bad as well. So, and she's also at the moment going through her Saturn return. So I always think that, till end of next year. So this is where Saturn is at the moment in the skies. So Saturn is going over her exactly in about pretty much that degree, although I think it's about 19 degrees. So I know that she's reflecting, and she will change things about herself. And end of April next year, Saturn will be going in Aquarius, and it would have been a transformational time for her, and it'd be the ascendant Lord being in the ascendant, and so that would be amazing for her. And also the other thing is, right now she's got her Jupiter return as well. Jupiter in the skies right now is pretty close to her natal Jupiter on her ascendant, so it's kind of blessing her with that as well right now. And it will be retrograding. Jupiter will be retrograding back into her 12th house and back again. So I think that Jupiter and Saturn together will in transit will really help her to actually relaunch herself. Normally you find that people, when they go through their first or second Saturn return, it's a transformational time, particularly for career actually, and change in their actually, just like how they grab hold of their life and push forward. It's really pretty amazing. And so the other thing is as well, I would also look, and so I know that her first house is ruled by Saturn, Aquarius, but also co-ruled by Rahu as well. And Rahu's gone into the 6th house for her, which sixth house is house of enemies, debts, obstacles. So she would have had those things as well to deal with. But what an amazing thing that Rahu is there, just helping her with that. Rahu is so strong in the 6th, and Mars, that's the best placement for Mars as well. It's like literally the soldier getting out there, and actually, supercharged house that one is for her. So it also shows that she's quite sexual as well, and is obviously aspecting her 12th house of bed pleasures. So anyway, so I thought I'd just share that with you as well. So the other thing that I also do, I always do a prashna of the time, to just like see what the skies are telling me that are the things going on with the person at the time. So it makes a Virgo ascendant in the prashna. So, and I can see that this ascendant Lord has gone into the 10th house. So she's planning things to do with work. These are the questions she's going to be asking me about work. So I can see that's pretty strong. Also, Sun is there. So Sun rules the 12th house in the 10th house. Sun does really well there anyway. So it just means that she will be dealing with she's tackling any addiction issues, any expenses she's trying to consolidate at the moment. She'll be very successful in that. She might be actually doing some projects behind the scenes at the moment. So things will be coming out. And Moon is there. So Moon is not very happy in Gemini, and it doesn't like being with Mercury or Mercury's sign, and also obviously sitting with the sun combusting the Moon like that as well. So I know that in her mind can be like, oh, you know, I have to deal with all these things as well. So it's probably difficult for her, but I think she's getting a lot of help from her friends because moon rules her 11th house. She's also like got a debilitated planet, so third house ruler. So she might have some issues with third house and 11th house and eighth house. So, you know, she could just be like, there could be an end of the romance if she's involved with anybody right now. Or it could be that one of her friends has let her down. Something like that could be happening as well. Some friendship issues there, particularly with Ashleisha, you know, can be a little bit difficult there. So Saturn is there at the moment on Shravana, as we said, right on her natal Saturn return. So it's quite heavy, but you know, Saturn gives you the motivation to get things moving in her life, and she could probably be working really hard on her Shadow Bishop and Jupiter there, you know, really reflecting and working on her health, nutrition, her fitness. So and yeah, so I can just see that this form of things, and she could even be thinking about moving house, Ketu in the third house, so making her want to do things that are just, you know, changing things. When Ketu moves out of this next year, I think she'll have a comeback with work, stuff like that, because it's actually Ketu is right now in her 10th house from her ascendant. So I can see that she's probably doing some secret things, negotiations behind the scenes. Obviously, Scorpio is negotiations, secret things, third house of this chart. So I can see that there are things going on for her. And yeah, that would just open things up for her, definitely, for sure. So those are the things I look at. And then I also look at so I know that her moon, she's got Purnima moon, Shukla, you know, it's a very bright moon, so she can actually manifest things easily. And I can also see that her yogi point is 24 degrees of this of actually Aquarius, and Aquarius is her ascendant, so it's a really, really good sign for her. Jupiter being there, his yogi planet, so it's very, very fortunate placement. And she also has got her moon at a degree of Bharani, which is the Yogatara, and also her ascendant degree is an ascendant of Bhadrapada Yogatara as well. So she, you know, she has got a very strong chart. I mean, I do worry about, like, because obviously Saturn is fallen in Shravana, as has Ketu. They're both kind of in a difficult, in moon nakshatras. Moon is not a good planet for her. And also Venus and Sun have fallen into Vishaka as well. Vishaka gives you victory, but it can actually make somebody very prone to things like addictions as well. But it will be victorious. She's quite got strong Mars in the, you know, she'll be able to overcome those issues. And so these are some of the things I will look at in people's charts. I hope that helped, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.